And go. Hold on. Go.
Ooh.
We are live. Hello, Ivic. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the South Afrifur podcast. We seem to be having a little bit of technical difficulty contacting Ivic, but whatever.
Yes, I'm here.
Yeah, but dude, are you
I didn't hear you.
Okay.
Go.
We've been going for Go.
Oh.
Talk.
Welcome to the South Afrifur podcast.
Jesus.
Here at 8 p.m. CAT and what was it? 2 p.m. EST. Today we actually have a wonderful guest from an ex-South African, I guess we can call her that. Raven. Thank you, Marata.
Hi.
And obviously Scratch, as you've just heard him.
Mm-hmm.
And welcome to the South Afrifur podcast. We are Go and also mirror streaming on Furry FM, which is absolutely wonderful. Well, not at present, I don't think. But we will be there just now, which has actually been very, very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Raven.
Yes.
No typey.
I didn't do it.
No typey. We can hear you typey.
So what would you like me to do for the next hour other than talk to you wonderful people?
Talk to us, wonderful people.
Fine, be that way.
Yes.
Just make sure you have the pop-out chat open so you can take questions from the peanut gallery. And
Rack,
when we know.
She will be quite soft because the thing is that she doesn't actually have a workable mic at this point.
And
but yeah, so we do apologize for Raven being a little bit soft.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yell into the mic, sweetie.
Well, okay, well, I've now literally got my computer sitting on my chest.
That's fine.
So this should work a bit more.
It sounds a lot better, yes.
Yes.
Cool.
We can unfortunately not manually adjust your sound, which is a bit crappy, but mayhaps in future.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe in future I'll have a better setup.
Or that.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's get the show on the road.
Okay, cool. We are live on Furry FM as well. So anybody who wants to check there, Furry FM is obviously a German podcast or radio station in that's run from Switzerland, and they decided, or at least I've been speaking to a person called Bravura, who's the person who's actually created the entire thing, and he's actually agreed to allow us to sort of mirror stream with him. It'll be a bit of a test for us to see whether we're actually going to be able to do both mediums. And yeah, so what we're going to be doing today is we're going to be talking to our lovely little Raven. I call her an Anubian jackal.
Uh-huh.
And yeah, she is now in London. She's met up with Green Reaper, who was actually one of our guests beforehand. And above and beyond that, she's been meeting up with London Furs, I think, twice, 3 times now?
It's twice now.
Twice
now.
now.
Cool. It's really, really cool. Our next meet is for Halloween, so that's going to be quite a fun one.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what I'm going to wear.
So on a scale of 1 to 10, how difficult was it to adapt from South Africa to, London and England?
I wouldn't rank it too difficult. It would probably be like if 1 is easy and 10 is super hard, it would probably be about a 4.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's stupid things. Like McDonald's here, you stand in the queue for the till you want to go to, which we don't do in South Africa.
Mm-hmm.
That was actually probably the most stupid thing that I've encountered.
Okay.
They call jobs other things here.
Mm-hmm.
Well, like, I want to go into, like, office work in order to earn money, right?
Yeah.
But if you tell somebody you want to go into office work, then they think you're going to be putting stuff in a file and putting it away. And I mean doing stuff on the computer, like a receptionist.
Okay.
Or a secretary. They don't understand that. It's simple things like that are a little weird and a bit difficult to get around. Transport's super amazing here.
Mm.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, like as far as I remember, the tunnel is always good, or whatever the hell.
The tube.
The London Tube.
That
The
one.
underground.
Mm. Speaking of which, there used to be a game. What was it? Hellgate London.
Yeah.
That was the only way that I ever remember any of the roads that she ever mentions. Whenever she's talking about them, I'm kind of sitting there going like, "Oh yeah, no, this is a station. That was a station. This is a copy-paste version of a station. This is where I died 300,000 times. Great, cool.
Yeah.
Hellgate London, people.
It takes place in Fallen London, right?
It takes place in
Fallen
London.
I think, there's another game in the same universe, I believe, called Sunless Sea, but it's something completely different.
Okay. Yeah. You generally just traveled through all the tube areas to get from one place to another, and you'd have to kill things on your way, and it wasn't the most amazing game, at least not I didn't.
It sounds like traveling on the tube in real life.
Well, you do happen to die in the tube, I'm sure. But
I've almost killed like 3 people on the tube just for being annoying. That is something I've struggled with here, because everybody is so accepting in England. They just kind of, nobody judges anybody, and nobody's like mean to people, and if somebody's being obnoxious, I want to knock them out. They don't do that here.
Huh.
Yeah. Very frustrating.
I can imagine.
Yeah. And like, I set the fire alarm off in my flat that I'm living in. So I live in the split housing, and I'm in a very small room on the 2nd floor. And we're not allowed to smoke here. And I didn't know when you cook, you have to close the kitchen door. So I was cooking bacon, and of course we all know how much smoke bacon makes. And next minute the fire alarm goes off. And I'm sitting here waiting for the house to kill me. They apologized to me.
What?
They apologized to me for me setting the alarm off. How does that work? Please tell me how that works. It was so weird.
Maybe the British people are just a little bit kinder than we give them credit for.
Yeah.
Well, there's a French guy downstairs, 2 Greeks next to me. Usually comes from Hungary, and then there's a Ugandan family downstairs. I'm the only English speaker in this house.
You're also the only South African in that house. Huh.
True that.
Wow.
That's interesting. How are the Greek people? They seem to be quite nice, I'm sure.
Super nice. Really, really nice.
Huh.
Yeah, no. It's multicultural here. It's amazing. In my first week of being here, I didn't hear a single English person.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's weird.
Have you met any, like, expat South Africans that side that you like?
No.
Okay. Let's rephrase that. Have you met any expat South Africans?
No.
That's a good question. No and no.
Wait, no, I did. Who did I meet? No, I met an old guy whose son was born in Johannesburg, but he's English, this old guy. And then he tried to say totsiens to me.
Yeah.
It was so adorable.
Did he just, butcher it?
Too adorable. He really thought he could do, South African. Didn't work. He tried to say Johannesburg. That didn't work either.
Like Morgan Freeman in Invictus. Goeiemorgen. Well, yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah. Give the man credit where credit is due.
He tried. That's all that counts.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, obviously you've met up with a lot of the furs out that side. I know that. Did you meet up with JM?
Yeah, I did. The first week that the first meet I went to, I met with him and his partner. He's awesome. He's super sweet. He's a lot taller than I expected him to be. I'm so surprised by how tall people are in this country.
Yeah, I was noticing that. I mean, now, obviously, for those of you who don't necessarily know, she actually went to the 2 London fur meets, and it happened to involve what seemed to be a large amount of walking. And the thing is that now she's actually uploaded a video on her YouTube site, which
we will link
where we're going to link to now. And one of the interesting things about that is the fact that She is so short in comparison to everybody else. I don't know where you kept your camera, but the thing is that like it always seemed like you were looking up at people.
I do tend to prefer to take shots looking up at people. It gets a slightly better angle than looking eye on. But I am a lot shorter than pretty much everybody there, except for the one dog fursuiter, and there's one girl with a purple tail who's shorter than me and probably about the same like width as my pinky finger.
Huh.
She's tiny, minuscule, adorable though.
Skinny girl.
Yeah.
There's
Okay.
quite a diversity of breeds here too. There's like every breed you can imagine. There's a cheetah, he squeaks.
There's a snow leopard from what I saw from the video.
There's a snow leopard, he's very cool. Couple of dragons, a lot of dogs. There was a cat, he purred. He got his spit, well, he licked his paw and wiped it all over Dark and I. That was sweet of him. So nice.
All right. What I do want to say is that for those of you listening from the Furry FM site, I've just heard that there might be a small problem with something in respect to what we're actually doing. If you could please just look at, or if you want to chat with us, if you could use our live chat here at FurStream South Afrifur pop-out chat. You can actually just use our pop-out chat here. I'm going to be posting it on the chat site here, which is strange, which is just weird.
Which is pointless.
And I'm also going to be putting it right here. So in any case, just go to https, what is that, /furStre.am/stream/south-Afrifur. Afrifur spelled AFRIFUR. And
Sweet.
welcome.
Yeah, this might be a continuous thing from now on.
And also /pop-out chat, one word.
Yeah.
Skittles Dude 77 has flailed his arms around and throws potatoes everywhere, which is quite interesting. I think he might be from Ireland.
Oh, that's
cool.
a.
Ireland is so cool.
So racist. I'm sorry. What is that? Countryist?
Nationalist.
Nationalist?
No, nationalism
But
is
I
something
don't
different.
know if it is that bad, because if you go to the Titanic Museum, they have an entire like dedicated area to potatoes. And they tell you how many potatoes were put on the Titanic. Because Ireland is really proud of freaking potatoes.
You
They
think
love
that?
it.
You know, I mean, like after a blight, I don't necessarily think that I would be that proud of potatoes.
Yeah, dude.
Well,
It's like, oh
yeah.
my goodness, our potatoes have failed us. What are we to do?
Well,
Emigrate.
yeah, dude. I mean, if we have a blight of one of our major crop exports like sunflowers or corn, we'd be fucked.
Or wine, or
grapes.
Definitely
Yeah.
wine. If wine went through a blight, I would die. I would literally leave South Africa.
Do you know the
Dude.
UK's number one place to get wine in the world is South Africa? They get more wine from South Africa than any other country.
Woo!
I know that because of my last job. Ha ha ha.
Nice. That's awesome to know.
Huh.
I know useful information.
You are useful information. You are the most useful information. Any case, so the furs in London. How exactly, like, do they sort of differ in any way from the furs in South Africa? Firstly, maybe we should actually give you a chance to. How did you experience furries in South Africa, in comparison to how you perceive furries in London?
I think the problem with furries in London is because there's so many of them. You know, South Africa, with us being such a small group, and so, you know, there's the Cape Town group, and then there's the Joburg group, and then there's everybody else.
Yeah.
Because we are such a small little tight-knit group back in South Africa, we knew everybody, and we included everybody and everything, and they include people in England, but they're a little bit more forgetful. So, like, the first day I got there, well, the last meet I was at, the first one, I literally spent about 45 minutes alone, just watching everybody, and then JM invited me over to him because, of course, I knew him, and then Dark arrived, and then we watched the football, and I mean the rugby, and we cried when Japan beat South Africa. And then...
Did you actually cry?
No, we got angry. Very.
So it was tears of anger. It was tears of extreme...
It was tears of frustration because I don't understand sport.
Fair point.
So it was that. But like this time, it felt more inclusive. Like there's still the cliques. There are certain groups that I wouldn't just go and walk up to and say, "Hey, how are you? I'm South African. Nice to meet you." There's certain groups that I feel more comfortable walking up to, and it's weird being in that situation. It feels a little bit more like high school.
Yeah.
And then there's the serious loners who you let them do their thing, which we have in South Africa, but we sort of drag them back into the group.
Yeah, I mean, like, and for those of you who don't know, I mean, like, your the smaller meets that you would always have in say in Europe and things like that, like say 16, 22, 15, 10, 9, etc., etc. One of the interesting things that we actually have to think about is always the idea that, I mean, when you guys get together in groups like that, you could actually call it you kind of call it a con. I mean, like Lakeside Furs has, I think, possibly around about 50 right now. That would be our sort of idea of what a con would be, because we always see these massive numbers popping up, and we're like, OMG, I don't know what to do. I don't have 10,000 people in one area. Blah, 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 blah. Whereas London, you just have, like, I mean, if I look at the videos that you saw or that she posted, Scratch, I'm pretty sure you still have a link in your chat.
I do. I will
just
drop
link it to the pop-out chat for us, and then I'll also link it to the Furry FM home line. So, in any case, one of the things is that you see all of these people, and all of these people. Yeah, like I'm pretty sure that the amount of people in fursuit alone, just on that little walk that you guys had, was pretty much the amount of furs that we generally have at a braai. Now, a braai, for those of you who don't know, is a barbecue, or the American equivalent of a barbecue. And yeah, I mean, like the things is that
we're an Australian Barbie.
An Australian Barbie.
Barbie.
Yeah.
So yes,
that's on average meetup here. Just the meetup we have is usually about 50 or so people. For Halloween, they're expecting a few more. Fursuits that went on the walk, there were probably between 20 and 30, I think. And then a few more arrived afterwards. So it's, for them, that's kind of smallish, but for us, it's huge.
That's massive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of how it is. What would happen is that we look at something like that. I mean, and it is because we're so tightly knit. I mean, and it's one of the things that we're actually trying to get into is that, like, obviously now Gauteng is a very avid group of campers, and one of the things that we're actually doing with that is that we're beginning to turn that into an actual sort of small convention in and of itself. It's going to be called the GFC, so the Gauteng Fur Convention, or the Fur Camp. Which is something that I have been asked to actually talk about. I am very, very sorry for actually plugging it, but yes, the Gauteng Fur Camp, it happens probably around about 2 or 3 times a year, and it's actually kind of interesting where we all go out, we like get camping gear, and we, I don't know, shoot each other in the feet. That's great. So yeah.
Into that. I don't want to be shot in the foot.
Well, I mean, it would depend. Sometimes you fall downstairs backwards.
Shut up.
Yeah. So, any case, if we look at the sort of demographics and things like that, are they friendlier than we are?
No, I think it's roughly about the same. There's one fur. He's huge. He looks like a big biker guy. He scared the crap out of me the first time I saw him. He's actually really friendly, but he does, like, he projects like big and scary. But the majority of them are, like, if I smiled in their general direction, I received a smile back, which was really, really comforting. It wasn't like, why is she smiling at me? That's kind of weird.
Do you generally see them smile if they are in fursuit? Can you see a smile in a fursuit? Or do they just go...
Fursuit furs. The fursuit furs are amazing. They're all super friendly. They walk up to you and give you hugs. They squeak at you. I had a squeaking contest with the cheetah until I could no longer squeak.
So you lost a squeaking contest to a cheetah.
I lost a squeaking, but he had a squeaky toy. I just had me. So he had an unfair advantage.
So essentially, his mechanical advantage is a thing. That means that machine will always beat man. I'm terribly, terribly sorry about that, guys. But machines are better than people are.
Bow down to the robot overlords.
Bow down. Isaac Asimov, well, when that final law gets broken by the computer people, we will all be destroyed. Skynet.
Dude,
Skynet exists.
You know,
but they do logistics.
Yeah, you know all that Isaac Asimov stuff is just like fiction, right? There is no actual thing like that in place. If a robot wants to kill us, it would have like 0 convictions to do otherwise.
Yeah, so because the rules were made up.
Yep.
Now, we do happen to have a request from the chat so far, is that... now, when exactly was the last time you squeaked, by the way, Raven?
Last night in the pub.
Okay. Okay. Could you possibly do a squeak for the stream?
What kind of a squeak? Wait, a non-deafening squeak?
Well, you could do both.
Okay.
So start with the more chilled version, and then work your way up. Could you be able to squeak from like sort of low to high?
I don't know if I can squeak. Let's see.
Nice.
What was your low squeak again? That sounded pretty awesome.
My squeak ran up.
It's like, oh, why?
Well, that's what happened. We were squeaking. We were going, and that's literally how our conversation went.
Riveting.
Well, I'm assuming that the conversation was pretty good. It does sound like a mouse whimpering, apparently, which is actually quite interesting. I've never actually heard a mouse whimper before.
I don't think I have either, and I owned rats. Yeah. That was one of the weirdest things to try and explain to people in England, that I had rats as pets, because rats here are, of course, kind of ew. And squirrels here, nobody likes the squirrels, and my sister and I ran around going, I want the squirrel!
They're vectors of rabies, aren't they? Not vectors, like, they spread rabies.
Well, I thought that was rats.
Not anymore.
Rats, dogs, squirrels, anything that actually has a pulse, basically.
Foxes brought rabies around. Foxes are cute. I've met about 6 foxes so far. They're really nice. Well, they run away, but they're nice. Apparently, that's a terrible joke, Raccoon.
Raccoon has apparently met. He is on record to say that Jewish people spread rabbis. It's a cruel joke to rabbis.
I'll give it a sympathy chuckle.
Yeah. That is your sympathy chuckle? Great, now I know, because that is literally the chuckle that you give me, like, all the time. I hate you now.
No, that loud, ha! That's a sympathy chuckle.
Oh, okay.
Everything else is genuine.
Yes, I've turned it on.
What are you doing?
I'm turning on my squeak.
Oh.
Yes.
Your squeak? Was that your squeak?
That was kind of my squeak.
Ah.
Yes.
Foxes.
Foxes mew?
No. Yeah, actually. They don't make a barky noise, and they don't quite make a catty meow.
Mm-hmm.
So it sounds almost like a in the middle, especially when they're running away from something, or when they run into a tree because they were chasing a squirrel.
Mm-mm.
That was hilarious.
Hmm.
And then squirrels make like a really high-pitched squeaking noise until they run into a tree because they were running away from a fox. Then they make an noise.
Stupid squirrels.
Yeah. I've spent like an entire hour watching a fox and a squirrel interact.
So instead of Fox and the Hound, it's Fox and the Squirrel.
Fox and the squirrel. It was a slightly less, painful movie to watch.
Fox and the Squirrel. So in other words, it's literally something like what is that movie that they had recently with the large amount of squirrels? You had a gray squirrel, you had a red squirrel, you had
The nut job.
yes,
Yeah.
the Nut Job. So essentially, it's the Nut Job meets Fox and the Hound.
Well, yeah, except the nut job had nothing to do with like
Yeah.
actual like falling in loves and stuff. It
Yeah.
was
Well, there was falling in loves.
he didn't love nobody. He was just after the nuts, man.
Yeah.
Well, I'm pretty sure that look. I mean, I'm pretty sure that there are a lot of people that are just after the nuts.
Yeah.
But
Squirrels meets Lady in the Trap meets the bottom of the barrel.
Fair
And then
point.
it also meets the Italian job, except there were no Mini Coopers. Or Charlize Theron.
Yeah. Then it's not worth it.
It wasn't worth it. Really bad movie.
So essentially, one of the things that we also want to know is that now, in respect to the London Furs and you know, the people that you interact with, sort of how well do they know each other in comparison to the way that we sort of know each other? Because I'm pretty sure that we know, because like you said, we're a very, very small community, and it's very, very interesting to see sort of what the dynamics are like. How do they interact with one another aside from squeaks?
Well, the interactions are, you know, they're the one Welsh guy came up and gave me a hug, and then he kept calling the other Welsh guy a Swansea bastard. You know, they got that kind of relationship with each other.
Oh, God.
But for instance, the one couple I met, it's a young guy he's not quite American, and his boyfriend is not quite English, but he was born in Brazil, but he's been here for like 8 years. The American dude didn't know what his partner's real life name was. And when his partner told me what his real life name was, he was like, wait, what? But they've been together for like 2 years.
Oof.
Yeah.
That's tough.
So there's a certain amount of, you know, they know each other quite a lot within the furry context. Whereas we, you know, in the South African group, we knew each other a lot, even in a slightly more personal context.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So it's like it feels like there's much more separation of like the fandom and like the actual people themselves, by the sounds of it.
Yeah. Like the people that all live in the same kind of area, like there's one particular area where Dark is currently staying now too, which is close to where like JM Horses and all of that. They know each other a little bit more personally, but that's just their group. They know each other relatively well there. They don't know like other things about the other furs. They can tell you. I mean, the one guy didn't even know who JM Horse was, and I figured JM Horse was pretty big in the furry community. And the guy's like, I have no idea who you're talking about.
Huh.
And there's that kind of a concept there. I mean, like Green Reaper he practically owns Ink Bunny, doesn't he?
Well, not
Yeah.
even just practically, he owns Ink Bunny, yes.
Exactly. And if you say Green Reaper to quite a few of them, they're just kind of like, who? And you're kind of like, have you been living under a rock? I come from a smaller community than you, and I know who he is.
Look, the thing is that I mean, it's pretty important that we also have to note that there are people within South Africa who still don't necessarily know who Uncle Kage is. They know that Anthrocon exists, and then like everybody wants to go to Anthrocon, da 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 da. But then they don't necessarily. I think the idea of researching things, and I mean, this is something that I've noticed while we're busy doing the podcast, is that a lot of the time you research these people, we figure out who they are, we realize that, hey, these people are kind of a big deal. And, but it's only sometimes like after research or after you've made the connection that you kind of sit there going like, whoa, these guys actually are a pretty big deal. And it's important to note that furries are furries, and at the end of the day, it's not about how, and I mean quote unquote, important you are. It's about the fact that you were able to be in a community, you're able to communicate, and the thing is that a lot of the time, you'll notice that the more famous, once again quote unquote, or the more notable a fur becomes, the more they retract, I guess, from the community at large. Specifically because, I mean, you'd probably get very, very strange mails from people asking about random things. I mean, if we listen to what Potteroo said last week, it's that it's kind of like a lot of the time you'd get either inane or trollish emails, and you're kind of sitting there going like, you can probably suck it. Um, but and the thing is that, I mean, you can be as active as you want to be on Twitter and things like that, but a lot of the people might not necessarily know who you are.
No, I agree, and I agree with what Raccoon said. Some people just don't pay attention to what goes on behind the scenes. What fascinated me was, because, everybody asks, so what's your persona? No, Raven is my main persona, and Magpie is my angel dragon. What's an angel dragon?
What? I'm sorry. Okay.
Legitimately, I have been asked about 30 times what an angel dragon is. Because it's not big here. Here in England, angel dragons aren't big. In the US, thanks to telephone, they're huge. But here they're not.
Did you mention telephone, and did they finally, sort of get what telephone was?
Yep, I mentioned telephone. And then I showed them what my sonar looks like, and they're like, oh, that's cute.
Huh.
Okay. Right. Okay.
But, again, I mean, the entire idea of being a popufur, not being a popufur, etc., etc. I mean, did you meet any what you would consider "quote unquote" popufurs while at the London meet?
I don't. The snow leopard seems to be a bit like a popufur, and there's a black security dog. He I would probably consider a bit of a popufur within this community. But none outside of the community. Outside of the London Furs stuff. Most of those, if there are English ones, other than Green Reaper, they're based more up towards Birmingham, because that's of course where Confuzzled is held. And that's 2 hours away from London, so they don't come down to us.
So essentially what you're also saying is that the bigger the fur community is, the more you'd probably find that they're very separate from one another. They just sort of hang out with it. Because, I mean, that does kind of explain. I mean, if you look at South Africa, you look at the entire idea that, we have XYZ furries, blah, 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 blah. There are people in Rustenburg. If there were 3 or 4 of them, then they would probably constantly hang out together. And a lot of the time, they rely on those people around them rather than just going, external everything. Because, I mean, if you look at the South African, and I actually think that South Africa is probably one of the more interesting ones to look at, maybe also Brazil. But because both of us are really sort of budding furry communities, we tend to think that we're so isolated that internationally is the only place that we can look. And again, this is something that we've mentioned on the podcast often, is that a lot of the time a South Afrifur would come onto the forum that we have and they'd go, OMG, I thought it was the only South African furry ever because we're so conservative, blah, 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 blah. And, you kind of sit there going we've been running since 2008. We should have looked harder.
Yeah. That happens a lot.
It's actually an interesting one there. There's a Turkish fur he's based here in London. There are 15 furs in the entire of Turkey.
Oh.
He basically started the Turkish fur movement. He's trying his hardest to get a little mini convention set up for all 15 of them. And he has exactly the same problem. He, for the last 2 years, has had a member pop onto his little mini forum. I think he's got a mini forum or something like that. I can't remember exactly what he said they had. And they popped up and they were like, oh my gosh, I thought I was the only one in the entire country. And he was like, well, no, we've been here for 6 years. Where did you come from?
Kinkin Zade actually makes a very, very sort of valid point. He says that, but that's the thing, one only wants 5 or so friends, and having 200 friends and keeping them all happy is hard, and only keeping in touch with that rather than keeping in touch with 5 of them. And that's actually a very, very interesting thing. I mean, considering that when you look at furry lives and furry in perspective of who we are and how we are, etc., etc. I mean, media has become so huge that, I mean, it's pretty much like being on Facebook. You can only, and this has been scientifically proven, I believe so, but about 150 contacts, 150 people is around about the amount of people that you would be able to know on a personal level before you begin to forget who you're actually talking to. And the thing is that because, yeah, exactly, because we're so huge. I mean, like half the time, I mean, like if I had to mention Shire Cabot, nobody would sort of, or especially from London or from Germany or from the European side, if I mention Shire, people are going to go, who's Shire? And we're going to go, that pink rabbit from America, and they're going to go, who?
Also, yeah, just to quell my own curiosity, that 150 number is called the Dunbar number.
Oh, is it a Dunbar number? So it is scientifically proven.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
That's like basically the size of like the average size of most communities before they start splitting apart or doing other things and it becomes too much to manage. Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
The more you
I did not
know.
know that.
Yeah. Rainbows.
Learned something new.
Information dispensed. Continue.
So, I mean, when you were in Ireland, I know that we actually had an Irish fur on the podcast beforehand. Cainish, was it? Yes, definitely Cainish. Yeah. Now, Cainish talks about the Irish furry community pretty much almost the same way that we talk about the South African furry community, in that it's very, very small. They kind of have get-togethers, but it's very, very far to travel between one point and the other point. And I know that he's from Northern Ireland, and it makes it, yeah. Did you go to Northern Ireland?
Yeah, I went to Northern Ireland because my sister didn't have a British passport on her, so we couldn't go via Dublin because that's not England. So you actually have to show your passport, and her visa is only for the UK.
Mm.
So we had to go into Belfast, which is in Northern Ireland.
Okay.
Ireland's a very, very fascinating place because if you're not Protestant, you hate the Catholics, which means you hate Republic of Ireland. And if you're Catholic, you hate the Protestants, which means you hate Northern Ireland.
Mm.
And now they want it all to become one thing, and nobody wants it all to become one thing, but everybody wants it to become one thing, and it's just confusing. It's so weird.
But I thought you met South African furries, though, or not furries, but you met South African people in England, because England,
yeah.
The first place I was staying at, well, a couple they were traveling through, but it was really briefly for like 15 minutes, and they asked me how to get a bank account, which I couldn't help them with because of course I'm using a British passport. And then who was the other? I met a South African, but it was also, well, my friend's husband is here. And he's not really South African, but he is South African because his dad's South African. Complicated. And then my cousin's here. He's South African. He's cool. He's really tall. He's like 2.5 heads taller than me.
2.5 feet. Huh.
Lots of feet taller than me. And then on Wednesday, I was at Stratford Mall, which is just opposite the Olympic Stadium.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, the rugby match was on. And I was just surrounded. There's green and gold everywhere.
That's great.
There is an enormous
contingent.
Yeah, there is a huge contingent of South African people in London and the UK in general. So yeah, I'm not surprised.
I just got to get my actual button gear. The problem is, there's expat shops here, okay? Because of course they've set up South African shops. Mm-hmm. And those are expensive.
Are they run by South Africans or are they run by British people being... what's the word? The word that I'm looking for is opportunist.
It's English people being opportunist. There's a restaurant chain in town called Bunny Chow.
Bunny Chow. What?
Bunny Chow.
Nice.
For those of you who don't know, well, exactly what kind of bunny chow do they sell there? Because bunny chow is a very, very specific South African thing.
Proper legitimate bunny chow from Durban. It uses an actual Durban recipe.
Like half loaf kind of bunny chow.
With beef and curry and everything.
Or you can have the vegetarian option if you're not carnivore or from Durban. If you're afraid of actual curry, like me.
Like I am. I hate curry.
It's great. I love that option. And it was started by a South African. So I went into the shop to see if I could get a job. And the lady was like, cool, I have your CV, and in my CV. So where are you from? South Africa. No ways. I've been in this shop 3 years, and we've never had a South African work for us.
What?
Legitimately. Wow. A South African shop with no South Africans in it.
Okay, I just want to take a quick break here. For those of you listening from the Furry FM site, I would like to thank you guys for staying on and actually having a listen to us. We really do appreciate you. We are South Afrifur, which means that we are actually a South African podcast, and we're sort of working together with Furry FM at this point, just to sort of have a look at sort of how we're going to be able to improve our own sort of both viewer base as well as anything else. Those of you who want to listen again, remember I'm just taking a small break, and I'm very, very sorry for doing so, but if you do want to chat to us, please just have a listen to us on https /furStre.am/stream, so stream/south-afrifur, spelled AFRIFUR /pop-out-chat. So have a listen to us, and maybe if you want to ask us a couple of questions or anything along the lines of that, please do so. So yeah. Again, like we said, we're South Afrifur. I think we're kind of awesome sometimes.
It's okay.
But yeah. And we're actually speaking to Ravensong. She is an expat from South Africa who is now going to be our eyes and ears inside the London community. And yeah, so carry on listening, ask us questions if you have any interesting ones, or if you don't have any interesting ones, give us an inane one, and we'll try to answer you as inanely as possible. So yeah, any case, Raven, Bunny Chow.
I'm not typing such lies.
What?
Okay.
Who's typing?
I wasn't typing anything.
We're not accusing you of typing.
Well, I got in trouble last time I typed.
Yeah, because it sounds like there's a bird picking at your microphone.
Yeah, okay, fine.
Type. Okay, moving on. Anyways, so one of the things that I actually want to ask you, Raven, is, I mean, traveling across London. I mean, how big is London actually? Like, is it like Joburg sized, or is it like 3 times Joburg sized?
It's confusing because London itself, actual London, is pretty small.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? It's to get from one end to the other is about half an hour if you take the London Underground. In fact, probably less if it's a good day. So it's not big, but because of the suburb around it, it's huge. To get from one end to the other can take you up to 2 hours.
Holy crap! Okay.
Yeah. So like for me, Windsor is still technically counted as part of London. It's in the borough of Buckinghamshire, but it is part of Greater London area. And I was going to get a job working at Legoland there. But to travel from where I am on the east side to Windsor on the west side would have taken me 2 hours every morning and 2 hours every night.
Ugh.
Therefore, I'm not working for Legoland anymore.
So you were actually working for someone for a while?
Well, no, I was accepted to work for them, yeah. And then I had to say, no, I'm sorry. It hurts me, but no.
Legoland would have been awesome.
I was going to walk around in a suit as a Lego person. I could have been Emmett. Or whatever the hell that girl with the badly colored hair was called, because she had lots of big names.
Yeah, I don't even know what his name was. Whatever.
Yeah.
Because I like the Lego movie. Yeah, they're weird about like hiring jobs here too. They ask you stupid questions like, "Why do you want to work for this company?" Because I need money.
Yeah, was that your answer?
No, that was my answer in my head.
Ah,
my
that's
real
always
answer was, "Enough to make people smile."
oh.
That's always everyone's answer in a job interview. Like, why do you want to work for this company? You guys are giving people money to do things. I need money to do other things with God. That's usually the answer.
Gosh.
Yeah.
Mm.
You're willing to pay me money. Yeah. That's it.
Yeah. Ivic, to finish your question on scale though, London itself is small, but when you're in it, it feels huge. You feel very, very much lost in the middle of London. It's massive. The buildings are 10 times the size of anything in Joburg. What's it called? The Shard, which is the biggest building in Europe, looks like an unfinished building. It's this gorgeous, giant, big piece of glass. From it, it's a 20-minute drive to something that's about 5 kilometers away.
But that's...
Because of the way it's designed.
So it's like turning street, one way, one way, one way,
Yeah.
one way, one way. Turning street, one way, one way, one way, one way. Okay, cool, we got here.
Something like that.
It's very, very confusing.
That so sounds like the middle of Cape Town.
Yeah. Well, at least Cape Town At least Cape Town makes sense somehow.
No, Cape Town doesn't make sense.
Oh, fuck.
Cape Town makes no sense.
Cape Town's fine.
Cape Town's awesome if you're walking.
Cape Town makes no sense.
The My City is really nice these days. But yeah. We're not going to get back on the subject of public transport. We've gone down that road far too many times.
And again, like it's kind of loosely related to it, but if you look at the entirety of the TARDIS, or the entirety of how Sherlock solves crimes, as Raccoon actually very accurately says, I'm pretty sure it'd be easier. Have you been to number 10 Downing Street yet?
No, I haven't.
You should
Unfortunately, go there. I've been to Drury Lane and seen if I could find the Muffin Man.
Really?
Yes, I literally went there because there's a theater on Drury Lane, but there was no Muffin Man.
I would only accept that Drury Lane would at least have a play about the Muffin Man.
No.
Like randomly, every like third or fourth evening, or like every twice a month. Not even like, advertised anything like that. And then all you have is this play about the Muffin Man, and the Muffin Man only appears 2 seconds before the end of the play, and he goes, "Hi, bye."
No. all you need is a guy with like a cart that sells muffins. That's it.
Walking up and down the lane.
Yeah, exactly. You need to. That's money. That's money right there, waiting to be made. Just saying.
Instead, it's showing. What was it showing? London Gets Kinky.
Oh,
interesting.
Oh wow, is that what happens on Drury Lane?
Well, it is close to Old Compton Street.
Huh.
And Abbey Road, you been there?
I've driven past it because there's a station there, but it's on my route into town.
Raccoon does in fact ask you about what the play was about.
I have no idea what the play is about. I've seen the adverts about, and it's mostly people that are working, and then suddenly, like, you'll see, like, there's a guy in construction uniform, businessman, then a doctor wearing, like, knee-high, red, glittery high heels. And that's what all the adverts are. So I'm not sure what it's about, and I'd like to go see it when I have money, because it's running for quite some time. So I tell you what, if I do see it, then I will definitely let everybody know what it's all about.
I do have one question, though.
Yes.
Spell Drury Lane.
Drury.
Okay. I did not think about that.
Can I tell you the biggest frustration for me? There is a bridge that is not too far from Tower Bridge, and on the opposite end, it's like between Tower Bridge and the Millennium Bridge. And the bridge's name is spelt Southwark.
How do you spell
Southwark.
Southwark. That's how you pronounce it if you saw it, right? Southwark. It is pronounced
Southwark.
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 That's dumb.
Who came up with that?
Well, I mean, isn't there also a place called Suffolk?
There is a Suffolk, and
Which
it's
is spelled S-U-F-F-O-L-K, yeah.
Yeah. And that's Sussex. Suffolk is back up that way.
Mm. Oh, speaking of which, have you, and this is a question that you need to make very, very well known to London first, because I have always wondered why this has never actually been accepted. There's a Wessex.
Yes.
There's a Sussex. There's an Essex. Why is there no Nussex?
Because that was Scotland.
Ah.
Newcastle, or one of the two. Somewhere up there.
But I mean, Nussex, come on! Like, who... Like, I would totally do that. I mean, like, Wessex, Essex, Sussex...
Anymore.
I mean, think about it. Like, I mean, like, I think I've actually mentioned this before, not necessarily on the podcast, but I've spoken to somebody about this, and I was going like, I mean, like, do the people from Wessex, do they have like sex with large amounts of people, or what?
I don't
Because
know.
we.
I don't know. It's in that side. It's closer to Wales and all of that stuff, and it's not really my... Well, Wales, you know, the sheep.
Oh yeah, Raccoon's right. There's a Middlesex as well.
About Wales.
Dude, there's a Middlesex as well.
Yeah, you do get Middlesex, and that's like in the middle of the everywhere.
No.
I know, they sometimes they're logical. Well, in the Midlands, there's two hills. One is called the Little Bastard, and the other one's called the Big Bastard.
Yeah.
I want to go walk up those.
Oh right, of course, Middlesex.
Yes, Middlesex.
Middlesex. So I know exactly what goes on in Middlesex.
It's a very bisexual area.
I would believe, possibly even pansexual.
Probably. Definitely.
Here's an interesting fact from Tox. He mentions that a fun fact about London is that Big Ben is not actually the name of the tower. It's the name of the bell inside the tower. The actual tower is called Big Richard.
Yeah, Big Dick.
They thought it would be inappropriate to call it a famous landmark that due to Richard being shortened to Dick. So Big Dick.
Of course.
Big Dickens.
Called it.
Yes. I'm so sorry for anybody from London who is in fact listening to our podcast at this point. We have made nothing but fun of you, but then again, South Africa and England, we share one of the most, I think, honestly, I'd have to say that, I mean, if you ever speak to somebody who's been in England or an older person in England, and you say, oh no, I'm from South Africa, and they go, South Africans, what did they do to our Commonwealth?
Yeah, pretty much.
Let's not get into fucking British colonial history in South Africa. I'm still a little bit miffed.
Very, they're used to being teased, and they tease themselves. In fact, the English make more fun of themselves than anybody else does.
Yeah.
Well, actually, you know how much South Africa makes fun of itself.
Yeah. I met an English guy yesterday that knew more about South African history than I did.
Yeah, I met a Dutch game designer who said, like, he comes to South Africa kind of often for, like, this festival kind of thing we have going on here. And he said South Africans are some of the most snarky people he's ever met in his life.
No, he's right. Damn straight. We are snarky.
Snarky, snark.
We are a snarky bunch.
Much snark.
Anyway, where were we? Oh yeah, British colonial history in South Africa.
I tell you what, let me tell you more about the beaches in England, because that's something that South Africans need in our lives. We need beaches.
And sun.
The majority, look, we've had like 2 weeks of sun here, so you guys can leave your rainy, horrible comments out of this. We've had good weather.
But I've already mentioned that. It's on our Tumblr site.
True.
Not to mention the fact that you guys have, well, I mean, I say you guys, but England has possibly one of the most erratic suns in the world. It's like, hi, I'm here for the next 20 hours, screw you. And then I'm going to set, and then in the winter it's like, bye.
Yeah, well, dude,
I'm here for 5 minutes. Goodbye.
It's weird for us because it's
the sun here is quite special.
Well, it's just weird for.
Get some.
It's sorry, I keep interrupting. It's just weird for us because I mean that's what we're used to. We have like what in the summer the sun rises here at what like 6:30 or something in Cape Town, and like sets at almost 9. So yeah, that's normal for us.
For the summer here, I mean, 8 o'clock it was still very bright. When the sun does decide it wants to go down, then it's like I'm down. Which was kind of weird. And now, literally in the space of 2 weeks, it's become 3 o'clock this afternoon. I thought it was about 5 o'clock already here. In the space of 2 weeks, it's just suddenly like, I'm not coming out anymore. I don't like you people. Leave me alone. So it's going to take a little bit of getting used to.
Maybe the sun is kind of shy.
I think the sun's very shy. I don't think the sun likes English people.
Yeah, maybe the sun is as pissed at Britain for colonialism as I am.
Well, essentially, I still remember my history teacher from way back when in primary school. Primary school being, what is the equivalent of primary school in England?
Still primary school.
It's primary school.
We're on the British.
The equivalent is in Germany.
Secondary school.
Okay, secondary school. At any rate, like one of the most interesting things about one of the things that my history teacher actually told me way back when, that was probably, 20 years ago now? Oh, goodness.
Something like that.
Yeah, pretty much, we'll say 17. But he, at one point, said that the only reason why England was actually called the, was it the place of the never setting sun, or...
Yeah, I think it's the never setting sun.
The sun never sets on the British Empire kind of thing.
Yeah, something like that. The sun never sets on the British Empire. It was pretty much, and this is what he actually said. He said that the only reason why that was the case was because God never trusted English people to begin with.
Like, I'm watching you fuckers.
That's not nice. That's mean. Yeah, it's weird. It's a very weird thing, and everybody has like a different opinion about it, because I've been warned autumn here is like really, really soggy. It's the middle of autumn and I've had 1 day of rain. So everybody, and I've also been told by several people, oh, winter here gets really bad. Wait for January and February, you're gonna freeze your butts off. One guy was like, nah, you'll survive. If you can handle Joburg winter, you'll be okay.
Well, I mean, do you remember that in 2012 it snowed in Joburg for the first time?
Apparently it doesn't snow in London.
Yep.
I'm really upset about this.
I'm assuming that's because of the smog.
No, it's just because it's too warm, apparently.
It's what happens when you put so many bodies together.
It's so frustrating. Nobody lives in London, though. Everybody lives just outside of London.
Yeah, because
London is closed on weekends. Pretty much. Most places are closed. The bar that we have our meet at only opens on Saturday for us.
Oh.
And that's...
Hello?
Otherwise, they would be closed from Friday night to Monday morning. They would be closed.
Sheesh.
But why?
Because no one lives in London.
Oh, fair point.
And because from London, everybody's like, oh, it's a nice weekend, let's go down to the beach, which is only a 40-minute train ride.
Yep.
If you go to Brighton, it's 40 minutes.
Yeah. I think remember Bohemia closes in December as well for the same reason.
But, by the way, Bohemia is a bar in Stellenbosch.
That I love, that we love.
Yes, it's amazing.
I miss it, so...
We have, that's actually kind of interesting, is that, like, and I mean, like, I'd be lost to say this, but I mean, when it comes to the furry community here and the furry community there, it almost seems like they're pretty good at what they're doing.
In what sense?
I think so.
Just because.
It helps that there's so many, and like the guys that organize the meeting, it's the LondonFurs.org bunch. They're very, very sweet. Yeah. Noah is the main guy, and then I can't remember the other, like 2 or 3 assistants' names. But they do. They everybody knows 3 o'clock. You're in your fursuit, ready to go for a walk down to the Tate Museum. We walk down past St. Paul's, across the Millennium Bridge, and we're strict about. They're very strict about the rules. You stick on the right when you're on the bridge. You do not stop to take photos. You do not stop to say hi to anybody. You walk, and people walk. They don't argue. Off they go. When we get to the other side, we socialize. I mean, they ended up dancing with this guy that was playing a guitar. It was amazing. No, I didn't feed the birds, Raccoon. They scare me. They're rats with wings.
So the Trafalgar Square pigeons.
Yeah, I don't do pigeons. I don't like birds at all. But anyway, so the furs, it's organized, and nobody goes off on their own mission. Like, one will run across a road at some point and pull a zap sign at everybody just to pretend he's being badass.
But most of them have 4 fingers.
Well, they have a middle finger, more or less.
More or less.
It's a middle-ish finger.
Uh-huh.
Roughly middle.
Apparently you're not allowed to feed the pigeons anymore.
Good.
See, that helps. Yes, there are big signs everywhere that says don't feed the pigeons. They spread disease.
Your face spreads
Up
disease.
the road. It does not. I had that fixed.
Good answer. Apparently Raccoon wants Scratch to educate himself, which is
regarding?
He sent a YouTube link. Have a look at it later.
Yeah.
Tots actually almost got arrested because he attempted to feed the pigeons. That is a bad idea.
I can believe that. I really can.
Mm-hmm. Look, I mean, essentially, if you have a statue in the middle of a square, expect it to have nothing but pigeon all over it.
But actually, now they've cleaned most of them up. They've almost all statues either have a fence around them so that we can't go graffiti on them, which is really boring, or you can go and stand next to it. But they all look clean, and the gold everywhere. If there's gold on a statue, it glistens. It looks like it was painted yesterday. It's amazing.
They paint with gold there. How opulent must they be?
It's the British Empire, for fuck's sake.
It doesn't look green. They're very opulent in London. And at least all the museums and stuff are free, so you can go into all the museums. I was told it's the best place for a date, because it's like a free date.
Mm-hmm.
And you can see if somebody's intelligent. Or you can get picked up by some stupid Cornish man who thinks he's being smart. Dumbass.
I wanna go to the Torture Museum.
You mean the Tower of London?
No, there's a British Is that the Tower of London?
I think there's a torture museum in the Tower of London. To Google.
Sweet. Yeah, Uncle Google has the answers.
Uncle Google?
Yeah.
Or I'm a girl. I'm onto Google.
Oh,
no,
yes, true.
Google is a guy. Actually, actually, no, it's a woman. I apologize.
It's a woman. It knows everything, and it's always right.
And it finishes your sentences before you even
So, if you're saying that Google is a guy, or a woman, actually, then, and frankly, by the way, that research and everything about women is absolutely 100% incorrect.
Which research?
Men speak more than women do, by a factor of 3.
Really?
Yes. They actually did a study of this in linguistics where they took men and they took women and they asked them to describe a picture. Women would describe the picture in about 4 minutes. Men would describe the picture in 12.
It depends on what the picture is.
It was. Do remember that this is like a massive study between a large amount of men and women. Men speak more than women do, and it has to do with the entire idea that men are perceived as more dominant, so therefore they would use more words.
Makes sense.
It's actually, that's a fallacy, and it's a fallacy that's been created because men are supposed to be silent. Silent and strong and, yes, we are amazing.
And Scratch, it is at the Tower of London.
Yay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
My grandmother has this theory on, because everybody's got bleeding beards at the moment. I'm not a beard person. I don't really like beards.
Hey.
Well, no, I like your beard.
Oh.
Mine's
My
better.
gran has this theory on beards. She says that men are growing beards now because women, of course, are, we're trying to take over the world and we're trying to prove we can do the same jobs men are doing. And men are feeling a little less masculine. So to prove that they're more masculine, they're growing beards again. That's why everybody's got beards. I think it's just because they don't like to shave.
Yes, that is exactly it.
It's called laziness.
Yeah, why do you think...
That's what I said. Men are lazy.
There is a multi-billion-dollar industry that is trying to get like shaving to not suck. So yes, it's definitely that. Gillette as a company only exists because of that.
That's interesting. Tox mentioned something about the idea that women apparently can say hi to a person, but in real essence, due to their body language, they mean, "Oh my God, your butt is so big. Can you please move out of the way so I can pass?"
That is actually true. And we prove that on the London Underground quite often, because I literally say, excuse me, but like, to say something to somebody, but I'm really bad with body language. So I want to ask them a question, and they're like, "Oh, I'm sorry, am I in your way?" No, I wanted to talk to you. I didn't mean, fine, did I come off abrasive? Yes. Okay.
I think
apparently yesterday when I took somebody's photo, I had resting bitch face. I didn't know I had resting bitch face. He thought I was pissed off at him. He came to apologize to me, and I was like, no, that's my natural expression.
Yeah, that sneaks up on you when you don't expect it.
Yeah.
Like, learning that you have resting bitch face.
Yeah, and it's really, really, like, painful to know that that's the face I have. Wonderful.
Ugh, shame. But yeah, I don't know, like, I don't even know what I really want to say right now. I feel like I wanted to say something, but there were so many things.
Well, then say one of them.
Something
Make
about...
a list.
Oh, yeah. Something about, like, I think part of the reason why I have the beard is so that I don't have, like, angry resting face. Like
Scratch, with the beard, you look like you've got angry resting face 24/7. It doesn't matter if you're smiling or not, because nobody can see it!
Yeah. Yeah, I know, but, like, at least then I sort of have an excuse for looking like I have angry resting face, because I look like I have a shot at starting a metal band right now.
No.
Almost.
You look like you could probably... like, essentially, if you look at the way that you look right now, okay, that tied up or not tied up, at this point, it looks like you would be a shoo-in for, like, a groove metal band. Just sitting down going like, yeah. Or like weed. I don't know what the hell. It's like, we are so lazy, we don't even need to do anything with our lives.
Well, that or becoming a blacksmith.
Yeah, blacksmith. No, you are a dwarf, but you're a very big dwarf.
What?
No, I can almost do the whole, like, Gimli tie up my beard kind of thing.
He could, actually. I'm pretty sure that what he...
Oh, wow.
I have aspirations.
Those of you who have not seen this picture, I'm also going to
don't put my picture online. I will kill you.
No, not your picture.
Oh, thank God.
I just sent it.
Guys, need this.
Guess what?
Yeah.
It's being sent out to 100 people.
I will kill you. I know where you live.
Well, yes, you do. You've been in my house.
Exactly.
It's kind of odd. So essentially, people do need this hoodie. It goes from Captain to Sea Captain Lee to Dude Lee to Trucker Lee. Scratch, you are sitting at this point by Hillbilly Lee.
Yeah, I know. Actually, I'm like, everyone says it's further than they think, and that scale goes on further. That's just like I think 60% of it. At the end, it's like wizardly and then godly.
Scratch, are you gonna try to get to Amish Lee?
I think I'm gonna stop at Bigfoot Lee.
Bigfoot Lee.
Why?
Why not?
Scratch, by the way, you need to start waxing your beard so you can start turning your beard into a bowl.
I keep hearing that I need to wax my beard, and I can't find beard wax.
You need to do it, man!
I can't find beard wax. Like, it's not like, oh, let's just pop down to the Clicks and get some fucking beard wax. It's not that.
Yes.
There's not beard wax at Clicks.
Scratch.
It is.
You will eventually become Hagrid.
I know. I'm very close to that.
You just need to, I mean, you've got the curly hair. All you need to do is dye everything black and you're cool.
No, I'm not going to dye my hair black. That looks dumb.
I can just imagine you just randomly, like, walking up in this Cockney accent. You're a wizard, Harry.
shouldn't have said that. I should not have said
I'm
that.
close to where the Cockney people are born. There's no
What?
Cockney people here,
I
though.
expect them to be like the most lively people on earth.
No, they're actually not really. But there's also not many left. You can't call yourself a true Cockney if you haven't been born within the Bow Church bells. Like, if you can't hear them, then you're not in Cockney.
Wow.
And that's literally 2 train stops down from me. But they're really, really cool people. The few I've met. I don't understand them.
I can imagine. Like, I mean, Cockney rhyming slang doesn't make it any easier. Do they still do that shit?
They do. But they do it, I think, to piss people off more than anything else.
Ha! Awesome.
Yeah. No, they definitely do it to piss people off.
I've always found that to be super interesting. Cockney rhyming slang. It's like, why? Why would you put that extra level of PT into a language?
Okay, honestly, somebody just actually just posted a picture of Chris Pratt without his beard.
I can't recognize the man. I can't.
You do realize that he looks like a really, really, really young version of Captain Kirk with massive muscles. It's awesome. I need to meet this man. I want his bicep.
It doesn't look like Chris Pratt. It looks like
it looks like Captain Kirk.
It looks like Elvis who just woke up.
Oh.
Oh.
Yeah. Anyway.
I'm trying to find you some Cockney terms. Ooh, no, that's a bad idea. We won't go with that one.
Stop it.
Anyway, Chris Pratt is awesome.
I'll give you that. I agree with you on that one.
He's
okay,
awesome,
in all
but
fairness, as Marotta says, is he all shook up?
Oh. I can't really separate Chris Pratt from Andy Dwyer from Parks and Rec. I can't see him as anything other than Andy from Parks and Rec.
Yeah, that's a fair point, but then again, I mean, the Chris Pratt there does not look anything like the man that you're talking about.
Yeah, of course not. Because he was chubby and stupid in that show, and then he was fucking in Jurassic World and Guardians of the Galaxy. He got ripped to shit. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm pretty sure that he was ripped to shit to begin with.
No, he was dopey in Parks and Rec, at least in the start. And then it was just went from there.
Yeah, fair point. Okay, London.
Yeah.
London.
Back to London.
It's a big place.
London. If you say that enough, it'll become bold. So when it comes to going out in London, places to drink and things like that, I know that they're supposed to have all those binge drinking laws and this and that. You can drink until XYZ time,
and you can buy alcohol from Tesco at 2:00 in the morning.
From an actual store.
Yeah. So they don't have bottle stores here. They've got off licenses, which are grocery stores basically, but they also sell alcohol. And alcohol is pretty. It's expensive if you convert it. Like Scratch said earlier, you shouldn't convert it. But unfortunately, as a South African still running on a budget, I convert it. But in a nutshell, my bottle of vodka, my big bottle, costs about 60 Rand, which actually isn't that bad. It lasts me about a week.
But is it rotgut?
No, it's Smirnoff.
Oh, wow.
Oh.
It's good stuff. Nice stuff. But if you go to a pub, a beer is £5.
I buy proper craft beer for cheaper than that.
Well, that's if you want actual ale, because there's 2 types of men in London. There's an ale drinker and there's a lager drinker.
What's the difference?
One drinks ale and the other drinks lager.
Okay, but what's the difference between the man?
God damn it, woman.
Fair point.
I don't know. I don't see a difference in the mint. My dad drinks ale, and younger men drink lager because it's lighter or something. I don't know. I'm not a beer drinker.
Well, I mean, as beer drinkers in South Africa, you get two types of people. People who drink the vast majority of the beer in South Africa, and people who drink the vast majority of the lager in South Africa. Those who drink the lager don't drink Black Label.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because essentially, Black Label is
something
the only
about
beer that we actually have. Everything else is a lager. You've got Castle Lager, Windhoek Lager, Hansa Lager. What's the other one?
Well, Pilsner.
I don't know.
What?
Pilsner. Pilsner's also a lager, though.
Yeah, Pilsner is a lager.
And then there's all the
what
weird...
other beers do we have? That's it.
Well, yeah, no, fucking, Amstel. You say Amstel?
Amstel Lager, yeah, true.
Tafel, or there's Tafel, like...
Tafel Lager.
Is Tafel not Namibian? Tafel's Namibian.
Yeah, but I
Tafel
mean,
is
it's being sold in South... Well, then again, I just mentioned Windhoek Lager, which is also Namibian. By the way, for those of you who are German, Windhoek Lager is the only...
South African mass-produced lager.
That also still follows the Reinheitsgebot.
Yeah.
I'm not sure that I said that. I butchered that word. I'm terribly sorry.
If I overheard a conversation correctly yesterday, which I probably didn't because I shouldn't be listening to other people's conversations. The Germans don't really do lager, and if you ask them for a lager in Germany, they look at you with the expression that is akin to, well, my expression most days.
You mean resting bitch face?
Yeah, pretty much. They don't understand.
Disgust and derision.
Huh.
Yeah, and then you quote some kind of brand, and they're like, "Oh, you mean that kind of thing?" So they don't really drink lager. They also
they don't necessarily drink beer there either. I mean, you get your Weiss, you get your Dunkel, you get your crap. Sorry.
You get your crap.
You get your crap. No, but I mean, like, you know what? Like, the thing is that, and that's one of the most interesting things about South Africans. Give a South African a German beer, and they will fall in love with it almost immediately. Mm-hmm. It's amazing.
Hell, CBC have made their own vices these days.
Yeah, Carling. What is not Carling? Darling.
Mm-hmm.
Darling.
Yeah, darling. We must have a beer together. It's going to be absolutely amazing. Yes.
Never do that.
That sounds.
I will always do that.
Okay. But yeah, Darling as a town, not like Darling as in Darling Sweetie Darling.
You do realize that if I ever move to Darling for some other inexplicable reason, that is exactly how I will speak all the time. Especially when I'm referring to the place that I stay in. It's like, no, I live in Darling, darling. Welcome to Darling, darling.
Welcome to Darling, sweetie.
Sweetie.
Sweetie
yes. Anyway.
Great.
You'd make the best toss. Like fucking...
shush.
Just move to Brighton.
Ponce or a toss? Which one?
Both. Are they not interchangeable?
I'm not necessarily sure.
Can I tell you a funny story?
Tell us a funny story, yes.
Okay, so my dad and my sister were here for a week, okay? So we went down to Brighton for the day because my dad wanted to show us what a British beach looks like. And it's all made out of pebbles. They don't have sand. It's pebbles and then mud. It's stupid. Anyway, so we were walking trying to find something to eat, and we were walking down this road, and Brighton has a very open community, and they all fly flags outside of their pub, and the flags are very colourful. And we're walking down, and my dad's not a homophobe, but he's also not exactly, he'll say something stupid and offend the entire population of Brighton in 2 seconds.
So Brighton is the version of Cape Town.
Pretty much. Camp Bay.
Camp Bay.
So we're walking down the road, and my dad's like, should we go to this one? And my sister and I, we kept pushing him away from like all the pubs, and eventually he stops and he's like, what's wrong with you two? And we're like, Daddy, do you not see the flag flying outside this pub? And he's like, no, I've never been to that country before.
Well, technically he hasn't.
Well, he hasn't. He was right on that. So then we had to explain to him that's the gay flag. And he's like, why do they have a flag of their own? So I'm like, so people like you know what you're going to be, you know, the place you're going to be at. So eventually we found a pub. He still wasn't happy. But that was the most classic thing I've ever been through.
In the words of Eddie Izzard, do you have a flag?
Yes.
Yeah.
No?
See,
Ha, we have a flag.
Yeah.
Oh, I like it. Good.
The whole gay flag thing, I understand the reason for that, but then there are other ones that like I don't necessarily see the point of, like the BDSM flag and the bear flag and the whatnot. Like,
I only learned what this bear flag was yesterday because somebody pointed out he'd seen a bear flag.
yeah,
Brown
like
on it.
everything has one.
Except apparently there was something that didn't have a flag, and everybody's like, why doesn't it have a flag? I don't know.
What was it?
I can't remember. I have a short memory span, especially when it's not food.
Oh, so food doesn't have a flag, is that what you're saying?
Food doesn't have a flag.
You get burgers with the little flags in it.
Yeah, but those are generally a flag of the country that they come from.
Or just the place you're getting burgers at.
Yeah, but
Like
the thing
the
is
South
that why would
African
a place
burger
that you're getting burgers at have a flag?
The McDonald's burgers didn't have flags in them. I was very upset, but the South African one was delicious. It came with a real steak from McDonald's.
McDonald's does steak.
Yeah, well, they do South African burgers because South Africans are apparently now frequenting London in the most expensive restaurants, which is McDonald's.
It's just for the World Cup. They had a... So actually, look, they had an Indian burger. And India's not in the World Cup. They had a Canadian burger. That was nice. It had maple syrup.
Ooh, yum.
And bacon.
Ooh, yum.
How weird is this? Okay, so I have a friend that works in McDonald's, and she can't explain this to me either. So, in Dubai and in England, McDonald's has actual strips of bacon on their burger. Like, breakfast has actual bacon, and certain burgers have actual bacon. But in South Africa, we get that fake little adorable thing. What do you think that's made out of?
Pork?
If you're talking about macon, that's just like mock bacon made out of beef.
Yeah, it is beef.
It's not macon. It's made out of turkey.
Oh.
The stuff that's on McDonald's breakfast McMuffins, that's turkey. Yeah.
Gross.
But now how come South Africa can't have bacon? Like, you know, I mean, I'm in a very Muslim area here. Dubai is the capital of Muslim area. That had actual bacon. What's wrong with South Africa?
I don't know.
We're probably. I would have to say that when it comes to South Africa, I guess we tend to be a lot more, and that's the weird thing. We tend to be a lot more aware of the entire idea that there is in fact a very, very large Muslim contingent.
Yeah, but we get all the like super orthodox Muslims who actually keep kosher.
No. It's not orthodox.
Or halal.
The thing is that oh yes, Rakuin says that South Africa is retarded. That is bullshit. South Africa actually is possibly one of the most open-minded countries around when it comes to being able to respect other people's religions. And at least I say this, and then again I'm saying this under correction most of the time, but
under duress.
No, not even duress. What is this duress that you speak of? Is it a dress?
Sounds like a dress with a U in it.
That's exactly what it is. Gouden ster voor jou.
Yeah. But anyway, the thing is that when it does come to being accepting of other people's beliefs, South Africa is literally probably, and look, government aside,
crazy high up on the PC list.
Yeah, exactly. When it comes to being politically correct, South Africa is very, very, very acutely aware of it. I mean, the thing is that when we make exception for Muslim people, we make exception for Jewish people as well.
Yeah.
And it does make it kind of difficult since we, to a large extent, if we look at the government right now, we kind of do want to push towards having Palestine with its own, country. And look, it's a give take. A large amount of the time, it's a give take. And the thing is that had we had better politicians, we'd probably be able to make a decision a lot faster than we do right now.
One with more spine.
Spine is a relative term.
What my friend that works at McDonald's said was, because each country is more like just a franchise, so it's a giant, massive franchise. And their franchise, the South African McDonald's franchise, agreed that it would just be fair to Muslims and to Jews and to anybody that doesn't want to eat actual like pork or whatever, to have this turkey. And it's not their fault that Dubai, who should do that, would rather cater for their international clients than for their own people. Which I think is actually very admirable from, the South African point of view. I think it's very nice of them. I think it tastes crap, but I think it's nice of them.
No, it's a fair point. I mean, like, there's if I'm not, and I am definitely not mistaken because I know it is. There is a center just, I think maybe 2 kilometers away from where we stay right now. That it has a spur, it has an alcohol store, but it has a halal wimpy. Wimpy is one of our... Yeah, exactly. So essentially you get halal bacon.
Oh, dude, I just realized the, like, absolute horror of that statement.
What?
No offense, like, I love bacon, and, like, if you want to keep halal, then cool, but damn, dude, if you take the bacon out of a wimpy, then there's, like, so little left. It's just a coffee, and that's it.
What is the point of wimpy, then?
Yes!
Yeah,
what's the point
thing
of wimpy?
is that just across the road, there is, in fact, a spur. So essentially, it is a...
Not the same!
It's a multicultural center.
It's not the
same. The
same.
thing is that it caters for both the Muslim community, and there is a very, very large Muslim community within the area that we stay in. And it caters for them, and it allows them to be able to be there. It allows them the ability to actually do what they need to do. In fact, our neighborhood, if I'm not mistaken, has been for the past 6 months debating whether we should be able to, whether they should erect a mosque in the area. And I think that it's a great idea. It's brilliant. All of our, like, what I would consider to be closed-minded white people believe, oh no, they shouldn't put this here because their religion doesn't belong in our area because we're completely and utterly white and we're so stupid.
So
fuck
Calvinist.
that. No, seriously, fuck that. The thing is that we're supposed to be multicultural. We are going towards a globalized society. And the thing is that the only reason and the only, like, South Africa is only relevant because it allows all of these people to do what they need to do. It allows people to be multicultural. We're not called the Rainbow Nation because we stand around and we go, oh, yes, no, we hate everyone. Bullshit. We're not America. We're not people like that. We don't discourage other people from being in specific areas. And that's why we're really good at what we do. And that's why people are so interested in why we exist.
I thought that's because we had good food.
Well, that too. But I mean, like, you have to understand that.
Yeah, but...
So you can be woken by someone with... Oh, I couldn't read that for a moment. Victor's little phrase down here. The block behind me has a mosque. I've never once been woken up by anybody with a stomach ache crying. I mean, I sleep until 10 o'clock most days, but I've never been woken up by that.
But it's just that, look, we need to be more open to this kind of idea. The thing is that the reason why we don't like the people like that is because we think that they're different, and we can't other people anymore. Globalization is about moving forward. It's about being able to express yourself for who you are, no matter what your religion is. I mean, the thing is that essentially, yeah, we decry the entire idea. Oh no, furry's bad. Furry is this. Furry is that. Oh, they're nothing but sexual deviants. That's wrong. It's obviously wrong. I mean, and yet we sit here and we're going like, no, because we're furry, we have to be in this small little community and we can't do anything and we can't, like, upset the neighbors. But in that same sense, you're kind of looking at other people who are also in communities like this, and they're also very, very small, and they're kind of going, but we exist. We are who we are, and there is nothing wrong with that. There shouldn't be anything wrong with that, and we should be able to travel between countries as freely as possible. But the only reason why we don't is because we're not allowed, because we're quote-unquote foreign.
I want there to be no more passports so I can go wherever I want.
Exactly. Look, Raccoon, yes, many Jewish and many Muslim people demand same-sex segregation. Wonderful for them, but the thing is that don't forget that not 5 years ago, many people were doing the same thing from a Christian perspective.
Yeah, well, yeah, okay, I understand that, and like, I'm, I just don't want bacon to go away. That's all. I don't
go away.
I don't want there to be like no more steers in my area that doesn't have bacon on their burgers. That's
all I'm saying is that we should make provision. They exist. They're people. We're people. Everyone's people.
Yeah, I know, but making provision at the expense of other people, like it's a highly exclusive practice. Like, well, the one is an exclusive practice, like having a halal kitchen. That's PT. That's like you cannot have any pork products in it, and there's so many pork products out there. So like, yeah, whatever. I just want my bacon. That's all I want.
I'm very happy for your bacon, and I would love my bacon as well.
Yeah.
But then again, you can live without it.
In the area that I stay, there's a guy that he runs an off license. He's very sweet, absolutely adorable. Love him. Very, very Muslim guy. The Muslim faith says you're not supposed to handle or drink or even like retail alcohol or non-Muslim products. But his store caters specifically for us, the out-of-towners, if you will, even though, you know, we all kind of belong in the same area. Yeah. And I asked him, how come you do? Why do you sell it? And he's like, because he felt that it was doing his Muslim faith a service by helping those of non-faith. And maybe if we can see that, you know, he's trying to make an effort, then we'll make an effort for his people, which I thought was really, really sweet. And I agree, you know, all faiths basically preach the exact same thing. It's be good to your fellow man as you would like to be done to you. And they all have that exact same principle. And he sells me my alcohol. He's really nice. He sold me bacon, which was amazeballs. It was slightly gross bacon, but it was bacon nonetheless. And he was awesome. And I love him to bits. And I go to him every couple of days because I run out of bacon very quickly.
But I mean, that's the principle of becoming a global society.
That's exactly it.
That is what it's supposed to be. In that your neighbor can be Muslim, but you can be Christian or Jewish or Buddhist or anything like that, or furry, for goodness sakes. That people accept you just for the fact that you are who you are, and that not necessarily that your opinion matters to them, but the thing is that they're willing to listen to it. That is necessary.
The best part of London is nobody cares. You know,
okay, look, I'm sorry, but I really need to say this because Raccoon is saying that this is an oversimplification. The thing is that it is that simple. It is that simple. You can say that it's an oversimplification, you can say that it's like that, but the thing is that we are all human damn beings. If you prick us, do we not bleed? Okay? I mean, we all bleed the same, we all die the same, we all have lonely, terrible lives sometimes.
I don't die, I'm a god.
Well, aside from you. But you can't say that. The thing is that, yes, it's an oversimplification. If you really want to say that it's an oversimplification, I do not agree with you, and I'm not going to agree with you. But the thing is that we are people. End.
We are family.
Exactly.
Thank you. I was looking for an excuse to use that song at some point in the next year of my life.
Look, I mean, I know that I'm getting very sort of like worked up about this, and at the end of the day, it's probably something that I should do on my own anyway. But the thing is that why do we discriminate against people for what they believe in?
Because we're
Type.
not typing such lies. Because we're better.
Anyway, what I do want to say though is that the people that we enjoy being around, that etc., and all of the things that we need to be able to do, is that we are as simply we're human. Culturally, yes, we're different. Politically, yes, we're different. Religion, we're different. But the thing is that we are still people, and at the end of the day, some people are possibly less educated, some people are more educated. But the thing is that I have found on more occasions than maybe sometimes I'd like to admit, where a person who is less educated has taught me a lesson. People have been able to do that from day in, day out. It's the only reason why the Lutheran movement actually happened back in the, what was it, 1700s, where the Bible was supposed to be read by people, was supposed to be brought out to people so that they could figure out their own interpretation. It's great, wonderful. And that's how we're supposed to do.
There's one shop down the road from me that gave me a free Quran, and I thought that was very, very sweet of him. I don't understand it, but it's very sweet, and I wish more places would just give me free stuff like that.
And on that bombshell, I think we're running late. I think we're running late.
We are running a little bit late, but the thing is that I'd like to thank for the people who are still on our side of the stream, Marotter. Also, what I'd also like to say in respect to Marotter is the following.
Pie.
Happy 3rd anniversary for the fur pack from Khari, which is a group of people who sort of got into the fandom together. Their 3rd anniversary, it happened yesterday. Other than that, I'd like to thank Ravensong. Thank you so much for actually being on the FurStream with us. Thank you, Rakuin. Thank you, Victor, Kinkinzadeh, Enigmatic Wolf, Tux, and thank you for Bravura, who is actually the person who runs Furry FM, for having listened to us. We really do appreciate your attendance, I guess. And also in respect to Furry FM, we thank you for actually having us on your show, mirror streaming for us. I really hope that we were able to give you somewhat of an entertaining podcast. And we'll see you guys next week Sunday, which is the next time that we'll also be streaming. And from our side, thank you very much.
Thank you. That was fun.
It was fun. I quite enjoyed it.
I'm now working up the entire neighborhood again. Mwahaha.
Why you do that?
Because I can.
Okay. Well, cheers, guys. We shall see you next week then.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Cheers, guys.